Okay, here we are in the penultimate class for summer 2016. Almost done. So here's what I thought I would do tonight. I want us to learn more about GWT. I thought we could do that in two ways. The first is that I've got I've heard from a number of you over the last week. Some people are having problems getting started. Some people are encountering kind of weird issues and stuff. And I wanted to do sort of a little lab/therapy session to see if we can get people who are maybe stuck or encountering something they don't understand over those hurdles. We spent some time at office hours, spent some time during the week, but I want to dedicate like the first hour of class seeing if we can make some progress on things, because I'm guessing that if one of you sees it, that multiple of you will have seen it, or maybe like all of us together through the power of Google and positive thought and stuff, we can get through some of these things. Because I have to admit, some of the things that you guys are encountering, I'm struggling with trying to figure out how to get around too. So it means this might be environmental, or it might be something that is unique to your situation. So I thought I'd do that at the beginning of class, and then the rest of the class. I also want to talk about the final exam. Blah 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 blah. And then I thought I would develop a GWT app that plays the game of life. So we're implementing Arcata there in the game of life. But first and foremost, I want to make sure that we can spend some time to try to get some of you that are blocked or have only made it so far into the assignment over those hurdles. Sound good? Okay, first of all, are there people who would like some help, that are willing to talk about where they are and where they're at to get through people? Yeah, a couple people? Okay, good. Can you, so I posted to the Google community a link to a Hangout. So can you join that? And right now I'm sharing my screen. Oh, I suppose we plug in, well, only if Nikki has a question, we plug in the audio. So I'm curious, who is that? Is this a saint of some sort, or?
Saint Isidore of Seville, the patron saint of the internet and programmers.
Oh, there's a patron saint of internet and internet and programmers. I mean, A, that's a lot, and B, come on, have you seen the internet? I don't know. It needs maybe a couple patron saints. Okay, cool, excellent. Right. Okay, so who wants to start? Lydia, do you want to start? Okay. And let's see here. Can you unmute your mic? Or maybe I can unmute you. Oh, sorry, I just lost you.
It's telling me it needs to use my microphone, but it's not giving me a button to push where I can allow it to use my microphone.
Huh. Just click on the link or something. Well, Lydia's getting set up. Anybody else have a question they just want to ask? Okay, show of hands. Okay, yeah.
I guess I'll ask a quick one.
Yeah.
It may be kind of specific, but I ended up cloning or forking your GitHub project as a starter.
Yep.
And spent a significant time trying to change your package names to my PSU ID account or account name, and never really got it quite working. So I ended up just sticking with your, Whitlock
with
package
the
names for now.
okay.
At some point, probably want to try and switch that,
Right.
To my name. are there any hangouts you can think of off the top of your head to like try to, when I changed it to Palm, I think most of the packages and almost all of the text and references. I know that's not super specific, but
No, I mean that's what it should be. Yeah. So I mean,
XML files and stuff there?
yeah, and like all of the like the.
Because I did the same thing, and without doing anything else, I just ran it, was able to get the website up and do the exact same testing.
With your PSU idea?
Yeah.
Okay, so it probably was just a small.
maybe,
switch or
yeah,
something.
and
I'll keep looking at it.
Maven Clean is your friend, and you also in IntelliJ might need to do the sort of the invalidate caches and restart. Maybe. So actually, that's one of the nice things about having Maven. So I'm going to grade it with Maven. So if you can get Jetty Run to work, then you'll be fine for grading. But it's really slow to develop that way. And so then if it works in Maven, it ought to work in IntelliJ. And if it works in Maven, it doesn't work in IntelliJ, then it's probably on the IntelliJ side. And so then invalidating your caches and restarting, blowing away your IntelliJ, your .iml and .ipr or .idea directory stuff, whatever they're called these days. That might help. Yeah.
There, it probably is just a small thing.
Yeah, and then sort of like the the global search for my name and your stuff, and maybe there's like one place that you missed or something. Yeah.
So the majority, like the appointment book service, like most of there's the appointment book service and the appointment on the server side, the appointment book service implementation. The majority of kind of like we have our appointment book, like the majority of the functionality of the server, that's all going to be in that implementation class, right? Because you'll be like your widgets will be like you'll have these, what we did in class last time, and like your handlers are just going to be calling these services as defined by the interface, the appointment service interface, which is then implemented on. But we don't have to create another kind of class like that. I mean, in theory, we could come up with yet another like set of services that we want to encapsulate on another thing, but.
Absolutely, and you have to duplicate a bunch of configuration and stuff to have two services, which you can do and everything.
But it may not be quite necessary.
I don't think for this project, really all the stuff that you're doing on the server side is appointment stuff, so a single appointment book service ought to be sufficient, I think.
For like we've kind of we have these. You've given us these integration tests that appointment book integration tests that we can kind of build on. I'm curious, like you have to run Jetty for that to. You have to kind of go into Maven and go Jetty run to get that to work.
Yeah.
But then you can't do GWT like just go directly into GWT and run that also at the same time. Because don't they compete with the same port? That's what I thought.
No, have you tried it and did it fail?
Yeah, and I thought that's what was happening. Like I had to turn off Jetty to get it to. Are they list? Do you know at all?
It shouldn't. So my understanding is that you're huge. It's okay. No, everybody disappeared. Share your screen instead.
Run those integration tests and then also do run GWT.
Yeah, that should be okay because I mean the GWT tests, they don't launch a web server. Instead, what they've got is some Java code that simulates the browser. I think is how it works.
And so they're just pinging you. Okay, gotcha. So
it kind of creates fake services and stuff like that.
Whereas Jetty's really just kind of like running everything.
Yes. So that sync proxy actually requires that the sync proxy uses HTTP to talk to the service on the back end, but the front end, instead of being a web application, instead of being the GWT client-side code, the GWT JavaScript and everything, it's Java code, which is talking to the same service. It's basically a Java implementation of the JavaScript that does the async client-side stuff. Yeah.
When we see something like in our Maven errors where it's something like, oh, this module didn't compile, and then it's like the series of like this dot this dot this, we're to assume that that's a problem. Am I assuming correctly when thinking that that's a problem of translating of compiling the Java into JavaScript on the so
most likely, yeah.
okay, because I've had to like there were a couple of issues where it was like, okay, and then I blotted something out, like some a piece of the, I don't know, whatever various Java library that I'm assuming didn't.
That's usually what it is. Like when we saw it last week, it's like, oh, I'm using that Java text simple date format. Can't use it on the client side, so that blew up. And there are a lot of Java classes that you can use, but then there's some that you can't. And so you probably ran across one that you can't. And yes, some of the compiler errors are pretty opaque in terms of are hard to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharing my screen again. Awesome. Someone else is sharing theirs. Okay. So, yeah. Make it bigger. Okay. See here. Lydia, is that you? Yeah. Okay. Do you get microphone working or?
It should be working.
Okay. Oh yeah, there you are. There's a little green bar that shows up there when you talk.
Okay.
Okay. Can I make this any bigger? Can I stop? If I stop sharing my screen, that makes it a little bigger. Oh. Here, make that small go away. Okay, that's probably as big as it's going to get. It's mildly readable. Okay. Okay. So, what do you know?
I've got this test in my integration test. It's called test state parser test.
Okay.
And it will not run because something is wrong with the class path. That's a great point.
Unable to find. Oh, right. Okay, we were looking at this at office hours, so we can't find the GWT XML in your class path. Right. So that directory had been Whitlock. So try running it from Maven.
Here, that would be Maven.
So do a Maven clean. So Maven clean deletes all your artifacts and stuff.
Sorry, this is not a fast computer.
Is that like a VM running in a different computer? Yeah, that's.
And I can't give the VM more than like 4 gigabytes of memory, or Java will crash.
Wow, that is that's slow.
I think it was hung up on running the other test.
Cool. Okay, so now Maven integration dash test. That's gonna take a while to run. So yeah, so I've found, I don't know, I tend to trust Maven a little bit more than IntelliJ because you can do that Maven clean, which is like blow away everything, all your compiled code. So all of the compiled class files, all of the generated JavaScript from looks like something blow up there.
Yeah, exception and initial.
Oh, that was you had it. Yeah, you had it as a you had that same test as just a regular old unit test. So just comment that out.
Yeah, I thought I did, but I guess not.
Yeah, let's just comment that out. Okay, do that too. I wonder if it's going to complain if it's empty. We'll find out. Oh, I was looking at my picture. Oh well. I'm curious. Those of you who are everybody should be working on the test. Are you using the? Working on the project. Are you using the tests? Are you trying to do a test driven? It's okay to say no. I'm just curious.
I've been having a lot of problems with the Maven running on whatever my system seems to work. It will I can add a test and it will run on the inline. But there's something. Let's see about whatever, it's not recognizing something to do with maybe like the way the resources are packaged, or it's recognizing some of the
Oh, interesting. Which is similar to the problem that he is facing.
yeah,
Maybe.
where it's just like, oh, it doesn't exist, or I think you told me I think I emailed you said something about that cache.
Yeah, there's that restart or that invalidate cache and restart, which might help.
Yeah.
And so, Lydia, while we're waiting for this, can you open up the appointment book gbt.xml?
The integration test.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just look at that and just make sure that like my name isn't. Let's see here. Inherits. It's got your name all over. Do Control Shift F. I think that'll search everywhere in the project. Oh, I can't remember. It's not Control Shift.
Well, it's
It's thinking about something. Okay.
It's thinking about many things at once.
Curious about that, like in your source of your Java there,
Mm-hmm.
OJ's you see how it's got a truncated the file structure there and it says edu.pdx.ca.
Yeah.
But in below in resources, it doesn't do that.
Yes.
And I was wondering if that has something to do with the way it's recognizing then where that module file is, how it's being included.
Oh, you know what? Let me look on mine real quick. Does it?
It's like the directory.
It doesn't like say like this is a resources directory. Let's see here. What would you say? You would say mark directory as resources root. Maybe you have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be test resources.
I noticed there were a few files in your website.
Yep.
Had really long file names, and for some reason, even with NTFS, they weren't included,
Oh, too long file names.
or even had word characters, but it took an error when trying to hold down there.
Yeah, that would do it. Gee, I don't know.
And they were GWT files, not GWT files.
Oh, interesting. So maybe on some operating systems, I was helping someone during office hours and they're running Windows 10 or whatever, and like, oh boy, I wonder if that's something different. Yeah, and it's funny. Where's the it's one of the things about this assignment. It's like just an order of magnitude more complex than everything else, and so that means that it's more susceptible to things going wrong. Okay, so what is this saying? Oh, it couldn't compile.
One of them failed in a way that I would expect it to fail because I haven't been able to actually run these. I didn't
Okay.
realize it was set up. The other one I think failed in a bad way.
Okay, let's take a look at that then. No source code is available for Hamcrest matchers. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I did import it everywhere I needed. I thought.
Well, but no source code available means that they can't compile into JavaScript.
Well, why is it trying to compile into JavaScript?
It's the GWT test, and so then it's sort of like, oh, there's client side.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's a different piece of information than IntelliJ was giving
Yes,
me.
and I think I might have gone a little further on the command line. So let's try to get it running from Maven. So what I recommend is that you go back to your source code, and let's see here. Let's see if we can replace those Hamcrest matchers with, I think I ran into this at 1.2, Hamcrest matchers with plain old JUnit asserts. So yeah, equal to is delete those, and then just say assert equals, and then get rid of that call to equal to. Yeah. Of it, assert equals, yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, if we're gonna try to run it from.
But this will be a lot faster if it
Okay.
works.
Yes. I would expect that you get the same error, but maybe not. Recognizes it. So you were saying that you were seeing similar problems with getting the integration tests to work?
My main issue is that again, it appears that like it's looking at the module file and saying, okay, yeah, construct the module when I'm running it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go into try to do an code way, and do it so you can see like this.
Yeah.
It constantly gives me this test class, bucket, GWT IP was not found in module.
Oh, it's this one. Okay, no compilation unit. Yeah, hey, okay, progress. Scroll over all the way to the right. So, no compilation unit was seen for that type.
Yeah, and it doesn't do that with. Yeah.
Oh, what? Now let's see here.
But if you run it, it will run that
Module. So now it got a different error. Okay, one more thing for IntelliJ. So click on Resources, right-click on Resources, and then say Mark Directory As, and then Test Resources Root. I don't know. Let's try running it again. So I didn't have to do that in mine, but. Nope, still test class blah. It's not found in module appointment book integration tests. No compilation unit for that type was seen. And oh, okay. Go back to the GWT XML file again. What does this say? Inherits that. Does this. So it includes all Java. It excludes. So client should be everything in Java. Duplicate line 14. So click on line 14 and do Control D. And then delete those 2 stars in the slash. And then, yeah. Maybe try that. So maybe for some reason it's not finding it.
Yeah.
Right. So did you run it again and get the same error? Or oh, it's much faster this time though.
Yeah.
That's weird. Class test class blob. It's not found in module appointment book integration tests.
I'm working out the second one.
So you forked my repository there, and yeah. Okay, and can you try it again from Maven?
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's see here. Do the clean again, yeah.
It was working out for an orchid. It's not working now.
So okay.
Right after I broke something since then.
Yeah, she renamed
Yeah.
like all of the Whitlock to LRS and
Yeah,
stuff.
that didn't break it though.
Oh,
The
really?
stuff was still working after I renamed it.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Where does that IT then get
Yeah, the rename to, I seem to recall that you do it for the other module to get the URL right, and then you create a second GWT module for the integration tests. And that's what that XML is for. And you need to create it to do things like bind in the servlet, but also ignore. Actually, to point, you need to point it at the test code in the first place, which is the stuff in the client.
Do you want to do the Maven integration test?
You do like, yeah, Maven verify. So yeah, I mean, integration test will run the integration test, and then verify will make sure the integration test passes.
There's something else small that I was wondering about,
Yeah.
which is this port number. I changed it from 8080 to 8888
Oh.
because it wasn't working. Otherwise, at least not from inside IntelliJ. And I wasn't sure if that was going to screw.
And does it work now?
This one at least. This one.
Oh, the sync proxy. Yeah, probably because you have dev mode running someplace, right? So dev mode serves at the back end on port 8888. And so then, yeah, if you have dev mode running and then you try to run the test, it'll connect. The port 8080 is what's run by Maven, or actually Maven might even override right
So
port.
if you have 8080, it won't work from inside IntelliJ. It'll only work if you're running the whole thing through Maven.
It will work if you're running Jetty on port 8080. But yeah, it's a good point. I think that particular integration test, that particular integration test requires that the server be running, and so that means you need to run the server. But that's, yeah, I can see where that is difficult. Yeah, maybe that sync proxy test might not be so useful. I'm sort of proud of myself that I got it to work, but maybe it's not so useful. Let's see here. So that is, well, something's happening.
What's happening?
It is
Okay.
okay. What is it saying? Failed to execute it. Okay, so maybe you need to look in. That's just saying that's the big huge command line. Yeah, what's that up there? Wait, I think we passed it. Go down a little bit.
Expected. Oh.
Aha.
Okay, so it's actually getting to the assertions. I feel like I can work with this.
Okay, and we got to work with it on the command line. So this is interesting. Can we go back? Let's take a look at your test. So I think you might have stumbled upon something. So RJ, who I think had to go, he was at office hours, and he was saying that when he had exactly the same test case that you did, this year 1111. He was saying that it saw all sorts of weird dates. So
It was saying it failed because it was a lowercase am instead of capital, which is
Oh.
my fault for not knowing exactly how it would.
oh, is that what the difference was? Okay,
Write it, but
went by
that
too
was
fast
it.
for me.
So I think we probably mostly solved this. Not maybe.
Well, you said you were
from-
seeing a problem in your web app too.
I fixed that.
Okay. Oh, you fixed that. Okay.
I feel like that's as good as we're gonna get.
Yeah. I don't get why IntelliJ is not working. That is. Yeah, actually, maybe try that invalidate cache and restart. Don't mind starting with IntelliJ. See if that helps. Gosh, this is like the worst episode of Card Talk ever. Because A, it's just me. B, that is no. This would be worse than all of them. Yes. Kwame. Anyway, I miss those guys. Anyway, next caller. That's right. Is that Joanne with a J or Joanne with a G? Yeah, that's like, yeah. Jokes you can make in Portland and everybody laughs. Because it rains a lot on the weekends. Anybody else?
Throw a bunch of CSS in there. I was looking
Yeah.
at the GWT's kind of styling thing, but it was not.
It's more than you can get done in a week.
Yeah, I mean, they still haven't made it look clear. Their kind of example would be like this.
Yeah, I mean, so how do you make it look good? Yeah, so you can apply styles to the GWT elements. And so then, yeah, that's what you end up doing. So if you are so inclined, so if you get done with Project 5 and you want even more GWT, the advanced GWT lecture that I have, oh, actually, and I don't have a screencast, it's just slides, I guess. That talks about some of the newer functionality in GWT that lets you do more with declaring your UI, well, declaratively, of XML that represents your UI instead of all of the Java objects that you have to create. And that's a little easier to style, because at least then you're dealing with XML file, and so it's easier to put styles on things. So yeah, if you want to go there. Alternatively, though, yeah, you can also have, like in your HTML file, you can have divs and stuff like that, and lay all that lay that out nicely with CSS, and then have like in this div, get that div in your Java code, in your client-side Java code, and add stuff to that.
So yeah, I haven't peeked too much at like the actual output of like, the divs and stuff like for just the standard example that we have with Xbox. But you're saying if I look in there, I should be able to drop some like butts around in the CSS.
Yeah, and actually the HTML that's generated, especially with the HTML that's generated is actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
They haven't done too many tricks, which is good then because it's easier to style. Yeah.
How exactly are you going to be grading this?
How am I going to be grading it? So what I'll do is I've got scripts that like unzip your submission, create the archetype, unzip your submission into it, rename the right things and everything like that. And I'll do a Maven Jetty run. It runs Jetty on the CS machines. Then I hit it in my browser and I poke at your UI and I say who's been naughty, who's been nice, and then you get a grade.
Are you going to be checking our tests?
No, so I will not run your tests. So you can submit them if you want. I will delete them before running them. The thing about the tests is that I don't know how to assess them, right? It's like, well, great, I can say that it passed, but I don't know if that's, I mean, do I have like, oh, you must have at least 20 unit tests? I don't know what's good, what's bad. So the tests, unfortunately, are just for your gratification. Give you confidence in it. Yeah.
How much of the grade depends on the UI?
Well, basically the entire grade depends on the UI. Are you asking like how pretty it is, how intuitive it is? There is a portion of it. I don't remember. It's like 12 points or something like that, and so maybe like one of them will be intuitiveness, usability. I guess here's the rule of thumb. I've got like 50 of them to grade. I think I said this last week. So if I have to spend like more than 15 seconds trying to figure out where to get started with your UI, I might dock you on that. But I'm guessing if it takes me that long, it's probably taking you longer to like figure it out. So normally, there's one student every year that like has the that is not a usable UI, whatever you did. Someone that's like implemented an interactive terminal or something for their UI. Oh, they've been done. Yeah, it's like anyway. Sorry.
Do you care about the layout and stuff?
Again, and this is completely subjective, I understand. I mean, it has to be intuitive enough for me to figure it out. And I guess also, it has to, you have to demonstrate that you've taken the time to learn some stuff about GWT. So if your UI is a single text box, like enter in the command line parameters, like from Project 4, that's not in the spirit of the assignment. No, it's like, I've had people do stuff like that, and it's kind of like, okay, I get it, but for me, that's creative in the wrong direction. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else need some therapy? Oops. How come I can't go to the other window? Interesting. Marcus, is that you? No, that's you. There's Marcus. Marcus, I know we're talking at office hours. Is there, I don't know, anything else? Maybe we just talk through. Mind if I talk through your problem? Yeah. So, has anybody had problems with their appointment not being able to be serialized?
I had some weird error briefly, but I hadn't. Were you actually using the serialization were you implementing the serializable?
Yeah, I mean, I had comma serializable.
But that is something that should be this is in the integration test?
No.
No, this is.
Adding an appointment to appointment book.
One of the issues I ran into was to send them over the wire between the client and server, you have to have a constructor that doesn't take any arguments.
Yep.
And that was something that threw me for a while. I don't know if that's related.
Oh shoot! Right, dude. Oh wow! I can't believe we didn't try that. I spent like, yeah. Okay. Does your appointment have a zero argument constructor? It does have a zero argument constructor. Ugh. Okay. Try that. So just appointment, yeah, zero. Right, because there was an email about that. And the error was like, yeah, that the appointment couldn't be serialized. Yeah, that might be it. Should- Yeah, so another public, appointment book paren constructor. Yeah. Right, it gets used under the covers. Yeah, so while he's giving that a try, I'll explain that again. So I guess maybe I don't have content on it. Years ago, I had a lecture on networking where we talked about object serialization. So you've got a JVM, and you've got objects that live in your JVM, and they do stuff. Your data is represented in objects, and sometimes you want that object to leave the VM and go someplace else. Like you guys in your project 2, when you implement your text file, right? You took your objects and then you wrote them out to a text file, and then you started reporting back up again, and you could read that text file and convert it into objects. And so you had to do all this work. Part of the assignment was to write your text dumper and your text parser, which handles that marshalling of data from one format, inside the VM to outside the VM. Java has this API called serialization. What serialization does is it takes a Java object and converts it into a byte array. So it encodes all the information in that object, so the object and all the objects it refers to, into a byte array, which you can then take and you can write to a file. You can put it on a socket, send to some other JVM, or actually any place on the socket that knows then how to read that serialization format. So Java's always had this, or at least had it since the very, very early days. So there's this concept in Java called serialization. Well, GWT borrows that same concept. When it has to take the object that's living in the Java VM and return it via your service to the client, to the browser. There are some rules about serialization, and there's some more rules about GWT serialization. So underneath the covers, the way serialization works is that it uses an API called the reflection API. There was a lecture about it, and maybe some of you watched it, that basically allows you to interrogate an object at runtime. So you've got this object, you can ask questions like, hey, what's the name of your class? And hey, what fields do you have? And hey, what's the value of this field? And is this field public? Blah, 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 blah. And so then that's the API that the serialization API then uses to very generically say, oh, he's given some object, great, I want to serialize it. And so then you can pull all this information out of the object, encode it in a byte stream, and then send that off someplace. Now, and here, okay, so there's some rules associated with it. Oh, sorry. And so you got this byte array, so you're serializing, taking an object, writing it to a byte. And then to go the other way, you have this byte, have this byte stream, and you want to create objects from it. And so then you're reading from the byte stream in the format of the byte stream. And so, the first thing in the byte stream is the name of the class. Great, so you read that string, which is the name of the class, and then you say, hey, try to load this class. If the JVM has it on this class path, it'll load the class. Great, now I've got the class. And it's like, hey, great, create me an instance of that class. How do you create an instance of that class? Well, you create an instance of a class by invoking a constructor. You can do that with the reflection API. But what constructor should you invoke? Well, the rules of the serialization API is that you invoke the zero argument constructor. Hence, if you want to be able to deserialize an object from a byte array, or in the case of GWT, the string, the characters that come over the wire as part of the HTTP response, you need to have a zero argument constructor on your class, so that the reflection, so the deserialization code knows how to create an object, and then it continues to read things from the stream, like, okay, here are the value of all the fields. So like, if your appointment has, a start date and an end date, it reads, so it knows that what's next in the stream is the value of your begin time field. Great, then it reads a date from that stream. And again, it'll read the name of the job util date. It'll try to load it. It'll invoke its zero constructor. It'll do things like set whatever internal fields date has, so probably like the number of seconds since January 1st, 1970, et cetera, et cetera. So kind of an advanced concept, but it's important in GWT, and it puts restrictions on your code. Things like you have to have a zero constructor. Also, GWT doesn't allow you to have final fields that are serialized. And so, the whole idea of a final field is that once it's set, it can't be set again. So when you're reading a object from this byte stream, you need to you'll instantiate it. But if you got a final field, well, you can't set a field after the object's been created. So then it wouldn't work with serialization, and so then they just prevent you from having that. So anyway, Marcus, did that help?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm gonna try Maven Clean.
Okay, yeah, when in doubt, Maven Clean. Okay. Stump the chump.
So for those integration tests, like appointment book, GWT, IT, that class,
Mhm.
now it's just doing a funny thing where it's after messing around with it. Now, when I try to run those, not only do I get some kind of weird error and Stack Overflow, but it wants to open up a little applet app main program on my Mac. I've seen that.
Oh,
when
yeah.
When you do the level, I don't know.
It launches a JVM, I'm pretty sure is what it does. So that's why you see app main. Yeah, that's not
It does that automatically now.
I think it's Maven that does that. Yeah, you're running for Maven, right?
No, actually, this I was trying because again, it works in Maven. It's just
Oh.
a pain in the butt because you have to run through every test again. It's like do one test.
Right. Well, I mean, you can, but yeah.
Oh, you can. So you can specify by name. There's
For
probably-
for an integration test, yes. So let's figure out how to do that.
That would be.
Yeah. Well, I think you can. So let's see here. That would be. It was an integration test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Integration test.
Maven failsafe plugin.
Oh, yeah. Just do that. Wait, were you having-
Inclusion and exclusions of tests. So I think there's a way to do that. Let's see what it's got.
Yeah.
Includes file. Oh, here we go. User property. Groups. Oh, it doesn't have a. Huh. Well, that's super weak. So. So you know what? I don't know if you can do that. That is that's a bummer. Wait, running a single test. There you go. Okay, so then fans of the Maven lecture may recall, there are two Maven plugins when it comes to test. There is something called Surefire, which is what runs your plain old JUnit tests, and then there's something called Failsafe. There's a Failsafe plugin that runs your integration tests. And both of them have properties that you can set in the command line that will specify like a one test. So here, so try it by setting the -d it.test equals then like the name of your test. And it looks like you can also have wildcards and stuff in there. Oh, and even commas. So maybe that'll work. To run it once from Maven. I suppose I could try it myself. See if that works. Let's see here. I can't see that because, yeah, hide that. That was obnoxious. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, so let's see here. Let's go to my project, see if this works. Let's just run the sync proxy test. Yeah, okay. So this guy. Okay, let's just make sure everything works the first time, first of all. So let's run everything. It's gonna compile everything so slow. Plus, so that's my turn for my computer to be slow because I'm running all sorts of other stuff. There it is, running all the stuff. Okay, so there it ran. Okay, so here it was, yeah, both the sync proxy and okay, the sync proxy was there, and then here's the GWT integration tests. So I'll try Maven-D, what was it? it.test equals just the point book sync proxy test. Verify. See what goes by. It's running Surefire. It's building the war. Okay, so it's running. Oh, it ran the sync. Nope, it didn't seem to take. Yeah, it ran both of them. Test methods? Yeah, that would be nice. I don't. Well, maybe you can. Yeah, I think there might be this. Wow. Might be able to say like hash, pound test name. I don't know. It purports to be able to. That did not do what I wanted it to, though. That would just run the sync proxy, and it might be the way I've got failsafe. Well, so it definitely ran the sync proxy, but then yeah, it also ran the other ones. And it might be the way that I've got my Maven project set up that this doesn't work. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Sorry. So. Okay.
Quick question about
Yep.
the pretty print that we implemented had all the file stuff in it. And files, I have the file classes supported by GWT.
Right.
Is it cool if we just tear all that out?
Yep. Yeah. So you don't need any functionality related to file handling, so writing to files, reading from files. If you've got that stuff in your code, rip it out, and then think about how you could have designed it to handle both, and then say, "Gee, I'm glad enough to do that," and then go on and finish your project. Get on with your lives. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I hope that helped. Sorry we can't get your problem figured out, Marcus. That is just really perplexing. So like I said, email me your code, and I'll take a look at it myself in my own environment, and I hope I can reproduce it and then maybe give you some advice what you need to do in yours. And Lydia, making progress? A little bit?
Still not sure about running the appointment book IT. The sync proxy is running, but Maven's like not happy with the IT still. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Is it still getting that comparison failure?
No, now it's timing out.
Ooh.
I'm trying
One of the things I noticed about your test was that you were doing an assert false. Change that to fail instead of assert false.
I can figure out what failed word is.
Yeah.
It's running against something.
I don't even know the word for failure. That's the spirit. There you go. Start playing the jock rock. Okay. Anything else before we break? Sense the need for a break. Okay. Let's take 10. Be back here at 7 o'clock, and then you can watch me fiddle around with GWT some more. Get the revenge.